Media. As consumers, we are bombarded by it at every turn, like the Incredible Hulk being bombarded by gamma rays. But what makes some media endure, while others are banished to the forgotten black hole of obscurity, never to be heard from again? Who or what decides this? Hetero life mates Steve and Yahel want to know, and they want to know now. This is Obscurity Now.
And what's up, Obscurians? It's time for another episode of Obscurity Now, the show where we take a look at weird and almost forgotten pieces of media, and we decide if they should be tossed under the sea or remembered for all of humankind. My name is Steve, and with me is a man who is also planning on moving under the sea. It's
Yahel. How are you doing, Steven?
I'm doing great. Kind of questioning why we're even going to review this stuff. Why did you even suggest that we watch this?
I don't think I suggested that we watch this.
Whoa? All right. It was me. I'll admit it. It was me all along. Wow. So yeah, the Little Mermaid cartoon. So it's come to this, huh?
Because there's a new Little Mermaid coming out, right? A live action one. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, and we're desperate to ride the wave of the trendy waves, if you will, for this sweet.
Yes, we too want to be seamen riding the wave.
All right, I think that works.
I mean the lady doing the new Ariel, she's a very attractive woman. So.
Oh yeah, that's what you're into.
Sure.
I figured you'd be more into like the actual Ariel because I mean it's well documented that
the cartoon.
Yes. Well, because you like redheads. Well, I guess technically the new actress, at least in the film, she's got red hair at least, right?
She's got red hair. Yeah, I'm sure it's a wig or something. But
well, I was gonna
actually, I bet the hair's like CG.
I bet even she's CG. CG.
Well, I just mean for the underwater stuff. Like, I'm sure they're not underwater.
No, I mean there's no actual actress. She's just AI at this point. Disney created her, so they don't have to deal with any more.
Steve, we're not real either, Steve.
Whoa, you just blew my mind, bro.
Yeah.
Whoa. Why don't we just go ahead and jump into the Obscuritron and do this thing? What do you say?
Sure. Sounds good.
Right.
Welcome to your feature presentation.
So before we talk about The Little Mermaid, episode 1 of it's like a Saturday morning cartoon, I want to know what your history is with the movie. Did you go see it in the theater? Have you ever seen it? Let me know.
I mean, I've seen it. I doubt I saw it in theaters because I was not interested in it when it came out. Didn't think it was good after I watched it. I shouldn't say that I didn't think it was good. It's just like not, I was like an 11-year-old little boy. I just don't think I'm the target audience.
Right.
Maybe if I would have been a little younger, I would have been into it. But when I was 11 years old, Steve, I already had a mustache coming in.
It's several
I had
girlfriends. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. I already had I had a sea of broken hearts that I was swimming through, Steven. So I don't need to see about a woman that wants legs so she can go bang some handsome land walker.
But that brings me back to where I was going at the beginning of the film. Like, all right, so it's well documented that tell me if I'm wrong, you do like redheads, right? Right?
Yes. I mean, I don't have like a thing. Well, oh yeah, Steve. I have a thing for them. Is that what you want to hear?
I mean, it just seems like you've had a lot of girlfriends that had red hair. I mean, am I wrong here? Am I wrong in saying that?
I think I had 2.
I swear at least 3. Well, you're ruining my train of.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, all right, let's just go with it.
Redheads.
Okay, so
yeah, that's all. I make them dye their hair.
Okay,
red
so let's say you're walking along. Let's say you're walking along, Ybor City or wherever, and Ariel pulls up to you in a car, and she's all like, "Hey, how you doing there, big boy?" And basically, you guys talk and you agree to go on a date. And she's like, "Hop in," and then you open the door and you see that she's a mermaid. Do you still go out on the date or not?
A couple questions. The Ariel that appeared, is she a cartoon Ariel or a human Ariel?
Human in this scenario, human.
Okay.
Well, mermaid,
Human
a
Ariel.
live living mermaid. Like you are a real
Okay.
person and she's a real mermaid.
And she lives like in salt water.
Well,
Usually.
somehow she was able to come out on land and rent a car.
No. I get that she's also on
Yeah.
land. I just need to. Basically, I'm concerned about the smell.
All right, so what you're saying?
I don't like seafood, so if she smells like the sea, I probably wouldn't be.
All right, so you opened it.
I'm not even talking about what's under the tail. Just in general, or general.
Oh man,
sense.
I meant to give a warning ahead of time. Like if you're a young, like a kid or like a real big Disney person, you probably aren't going to want to listen to this show because we're probably just going to end up making fun of the Little Mermaid and making crass and sophomoric remarks like that.
But I mean, you and I were not the target audience for this.
No.
I mean, you were a little younger than me when this came out, so maybe you might have been into it. 'Cause I do remember like little kids, both boys and girls liking the movie. But I was like 11. This came out a month before I turned 12.
All right.
So.
I mean, yeah, I'll admit, I'm pretty sure my mom took us to see The Little Mermaid in the theater. And yeah, I remember liking it quite a bit. I mean, it's quite the spectacle, great animation, and at the time, very memorable songs if, you're an 8 or 10-year-old.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's not. Earlier, I said I didn't like it. I probably shouldn't say I didn't like it, because there were some things I liked about it. Oddly enough, most of the songs I did not like,
Right.
and there were a lot of them.
Yeah. I was surprised there was.
They are memorable, like Under the Sea. I mean,
of course.
everything's wetter. Everything's better when it's wetter. That did make an impact on my life.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But like the story, I wasn't into like the overall story. Like I didn't care about the romance part of it. I did think Ursula was cool. I do remember that.
See, that seems like a girl you would be into. I mean, she obviously influenced what you look for in a woman now, which is, like a scene girl, tattoos, and daddy issues, right?
She does seem like she'd be a scene girl hanging out at the castle
Right,
or
but
a reservoir bar or something.
A lot of people have speculated that Ursula would not be into men, if you get my drift. And
Yeah, I could see that.
And furthermore, I also heard that for a while she was originally supposed to be voiced by Divine. Are you familiar with Divine, the John Waters drag queen actor / actress?
Oh, yeah.
But he, and I think I'm saying the pronouns properly, he passed away before he got a chance to do it. So
That was Divine's the person that ate the poop, right?
Yes.
She ate like actual shit.
Yep, on camera.
Or like that John Waters movie.
That
Yeah,
is Pink Flamingos, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I mean that's.
Oh, I think you're not mistaken.
I mean,
Steve. I think
I've seen a John Waters film or two. I'll admit it.
Yeah, me too.
Right, because the scene girls.
It's like from what I remember, it was just like it's kind of like one of those things where it's like such like a train wreck you can't look away kind of.
Oh yeah,
thing.
I mean
it's
a freak show, 100%. But yeah, John Waters, especially in the '90s, he was part of the whole. That whole indie film scene.
Right.
And now, I don't know, he sort of pops up as an actor here and there for whatever reason. But enough of Divine and her poop eating. We're here to talk about another piece of poop, possibly. The Little Mermaid TV show. And did you even know that this existed?
I did know it existed. I never watched it. I think this was like at least initially on the Disney Channel, right?
Yeah, but it was also on like
I know eventually then it made its way to like their
ABC.
like syndicated regular blocks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And I
But no, I mean I never watched
mhm.
it. I never watched any of like the direct to video follow up movies that they
Ah,
did. I think they did like 2 direct to video Little Mermaid
mhm.
movies. Yeah. I mean, I did like The Lion King though. I did think that that was a great
Yeah,
film, the first one.
I agree with you. But you were, you were mentioning how you weren't really into the story of the Little Mermaid, and I don't know. I don't know if what people know or don't know, but the Little Mermaid is actually based off of like a Danish folk tale by Hans Christian
Hmm.
Andersen. So just part of the. I mean, just as I think the Lion King is. Well, have you ever heard that the Lion King is a ripoff of like an anime called Kimba? Kimba, the white lion. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Yeah, well, look it up, buddy. Or maybe we'll watch Kimba someday.
Maybe we will.
Yeah. So jumping into the Little Mermaid, season 1, episode 1. It is titled "A Whale of a Tale." Premiered September 11th, 1992, and ran all the way to November 26th, 1994. Man, there's just something about September 11th. Uh,
That's one of my good friend's birthday from when I was growing
I
up.
remember on one of the past podcasts you said that. Yeah. So somehow this lasted 3 seasons and ran for 31 episodes, and it is a prequel to the events of the film. And here is a synopsis for the episode. Ariel adopts a baby whale, much to the dismay of her father, King Triton, in case you forgot his name. And the director of this episode is Jamie Mitchell. And basically, he worked on all the best Disney 90s shows back in the day, including DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, and then his career just continued spanning upward from there on forward. And the writer here is one Peter S. Beagle, and he's also the creator of the show. And he wrote The Last Unicorn, the animated 70s Lord of the Rings, and also worked on Star Trek The Next Generation. Should I run the bumper, or do you have a Star Trek connection?
Nope, because we've got more
Oh, really?
connections.
Interesting. All right, and of course, this was produced and distributed by Disney Television Animation. So, who are some of the voice actors in this show?
First playing the part of the Little Mermaid, we've got Jodie Benson, who looks like she was also the original Ariel as well. So that's cool that they had her, I guess. I don't care. But she's voiced Ariel in a bunch of other stuff, like random videos, and I think I saw like in some games or whatever. But she's done a lot of voice acting, a lot of kids shows. There's one called there's a series apparently. I think this is like a cartoon. There's a series called The Kids 10 Commandments,
Oh, nice.
and I just love that one of them is called Kids 10 Commandments, a life and Seth situation.
A Life and Seth?
Yeah, so I guess maybe this kid Seth is in a bind.
Oh, I see.
Anywho, moving right along, we've got Jim Cummings. He's just credited as other voices. And Jim Cummings has done a voice in just about everything animated
Yeah,
ever, I
I think
think.
he's shown up before in some other stuff that we reviewed.
Yeah, he was also in Star Trek Starfleet Academy, the video game, as Kestel, Kamath, and some other voices. Do not run the bumper
I
yet.
won't.
Up next, we've got, I might as well, I guess, do the next person that was in Star Trek. We've got, I think it was Eden Gross that was in it. Let me see. Well, I seem to have lost who was in it, so that's great. Uh, hold on. It must have been this. There we go. So yeah, it's Kenneth Mars, who plays. I don't even care who they play and what we're reviewing anymore, Steve. I just checked to see what their Star Trek stuff is. He plays King Triton. Kenneth Mars has been in a lot of stuff, actually. He's got 230 credits
Nice.
in IMDb. He was Otto Mancuser in Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know if you watched
I
Malcolm in the
did,
Middle,
but I don't remember that character.
same here. I watched it and I do not remember. And he was in 25 episodes as that character, so it's not even like a one off. So I don't know why we
Wow.
can't remember it. But yeah, he did a bunch of other stuff. He was in The Little Mermaid 2. So I'm assuming he was in the original Little Mermaid as well. He was in Steve's favorite cartoon, Bruno the Kid.
There he is. Yeah, I thought we've seen him before. Yeah.
But he was in Duckman. He was Colias in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And that is the end of the Star Trek connections if you want to run it now.
Okay, you got it, buddy. Here it comes.
Ah! Oh no! We've just entered another Star Trek connection! Ah!
And just real quick, if I could jump in there, back to Jodie Benson. I have to point out that the first voice acting she ever did was for Tula of the Pirates of Dark Water, a show that we definitely need to review at some point.
I've heard of that show, but I don't think I've ever watched it.
It's got a really big cult following now, just because it was one of those that it came out in the 80s and it was very dark. And unfortunately, it got canceled before it even got an ending. But anyway.
Well, we do have two other cast members, Eden Gross, who plays Flounder. He also did the voice of the good guy doll in a few of the Chucky's movies.
Oh, nice.
So that's a little weird. He was also Little Herman in Herman's Head, which I know we've talked about covering Herman's Head.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like how the his profile picture, Eden Gross, is the good guy doll. It's Chucky, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we've got Samuel E. Wright. He plays the voice of Sebastian. He was also in the Little Mermaid 2 video game and some other Little Mermaid related things. Oh, it looks like he was also the original Sebastian. I actually thought this was like somebody doing an impression.
Me too. It doesn't sound good.
It doesn't sound...
No.
Like, maybe we just remembered it. Like, because I don't know how long it's been since you've seen the Little Mermaid, but... I mean, I certainly before my 20s.
Right.
Was the last time I watched it. So maybe we just remembered it being more accurate.
Right.
To like I guess he's supposed to be like Jamaican.
Right. Caribbean. Yeah. Something along those lines. Yeah.
Because, like a couple times watching this episode, he like loses the accent.
Yeah. I was like, man, what, bargain basement voice actor did they get to replace the original Sebastian voice actor? But I guess it's him.
Well, obviously less time in a TV production, so less money.
Oh, there you go.
So I guess maybe they're just like, hey, we only have so much time for so many takes.
You get 1.5 takes, kid. Come on, let's knock it out.
Yeah, and that they would have been recording to tape, I'm sure, not digitally.
Right.
So, you got your time and budget constraints.
You get what you pay for.
And hey, this is just for kids. Who cares?
Right.
They're dumb.
That's the Disney motto, actually.
Yeah. So anyways, that wraps it up for the cast. Very small cast.
I'm sure they kept it that way on purpose. So you ready to dive into the episode?
Let's do it.
All right, so the opening theme plays, and it is basically a medley of all the hits from the Little Mermaid movie. I mean, you got your Under the Sea, and I think the Kiss the Girl chorus is in there somewhere. So whatever. It was weird that was it weird that there was no lyrics?
Yeah, I thought something was wrong with the the legally procured video file I was watching. So I checked in VLC. I'm like, is there another audio track or something? So yeah, I thought something, because there's you don't hear anybody talk for the first 2.5 minutes, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess they were really trying to establish the atmosphere and the mood. I
guess so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are hanging out with a bunch of whales at the beginning, so. But anyway, we're about to get to that. And in fact, a family of whales swims through the ocean, and then, of course, a whaling ship sees them. So, of course, they proceed to massacre all the whales, the big whales. Amongst the big whales is one baby whale, and he manages to get away. So, I mean, that's basically our cold open. What did you think of at the beginning here?
I mean, it was fine, but I don't think that they massacre the whales though. The whales like are they try to massacre them, but the whales run away. But in the chaos, uh, the our little whale or whatever, like he breaks away from the pack and loses them.
Well, I'd say it's up to the imagination almost because they sort of cut away and then there's like a red glow. So that made me think that. Do you remember the red glow?
Yeah, but later on at the end, when like Ariel's like, "Is that your family?" and he's like, "Yeah."
Oh, all right. I just thought that was a different school or family of whales. I guess I missed that line
Yeah.
because I was listening.
I mean, maybe you're right. I don't care.
Hey, you pretend to be interested in this, God damn it! We're obscurity now.
I hope they were massacred. This little whale, he's too gentle. He needs some trauma in his
Now,
life.
what would Star Trek 4 say about you right now? Not caring about the whales. Is that the right one? Star
Well,
Trek 4, where they save the
yeah,
whales?
yeah, the one with the
Yeah.
whales where they go back in time to save the
Spock
whales.
would be
Yeah.
very disappointed in you right now.
You're the one that was like they massacred
Well,
them. So you
because I
said
thought they did. But
you maybe be because that's what you want.
well, maybe. So look, I've acquired a taste for whale blubber. Is that so wrong? I love to have it with my foie gras and let's see, what are some other stuff that you're not supposed to eat?
Caviar.
You're not supposed to eat
Oh, no,
caviar, but anyway.
Oh, I thought you were just going for fancy sea.
Well, foie gras is like what's that baby veal? We'll just keep veal in there. All right.
I don't know, Steve. I don't eat these unethical meats.
Sure you don't, buddy. Sure you don't. All right. So, cut to Flounder and Ariel are hanging out. Ariel, I mean, they hear like, which is basically the moaning of a whale off in the distance, and she's all, "What's that sound?" and swims toward it. Meanwhile, the baby whale is about to get eaten by sharks. Ariel says that someone needs help, but Flounder is he's hungry. He'd rather eat than go investigate, someone possibly being murdered. He
Yeah.
tries to leave, but then sort of runs into, I guess it's like some coral or something, and there's a big eye behind it, and that big eye belongs to the aforementioned baby whale. And so they have like basically Ariel is like, "Oh, hey there, little guy," like tries to investigate and get the whale to like warm up to her. And so how does Ariel win him over?
I don't even remember.
She sings to him, of course,
Oh, that's right.
because that's what this entire episode is all about, like singing. And I was really surprised.
Yeah, there's a really long musical number in
I
it.
thought this was just going to be sort of straight, quote unquote action. Like I was really surprised they managed to work in like I think three songs possibly. I'm sure you weren't a fan of that because I know I wasn't.
No, especially the Sebastian number.
Oh.
That seemed to go on forever.
Indeed. Well, it just meant that I had to take less notes. But anyway, so yeah, she wins it over by singing to it, in the typical Disney fashion. And I mean, I was just really surprised that they were singing in a half-hour cartoon show. And then the whale sort of moans along with Ariel as she sings. Ariel says to Flounder that, he can be your big brother. Any thoughts on any of that stuff?
I knew right away, spoiler alert, I didn't enjoy this, that I wasn't going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to keep an open mind and like, okay, this is for kids. But man, I think even for a kid's cartoon, this is like, at least this episode, I don't know, like Flounder is very annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have found him annoying even as like an 8-year-old.
Sure, me too.
Ariel is like too goody-goody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it was.
what were you thinking at this point?
I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, Obscurity Now sure has sunk to a new low. And I was
the depths of the sea.
Yeah, exactly. To the Mariana Trench with all the other Disney podcasts. But yeah, the singing is what really took me down a peg. I was like, oh no. But overall, I mean, even just like the plot, like until the end, it finally has a little bit of like conflict and action. It's just boring. I mean, this is like your basic, I found a stray dog like plot that could be taken from like Lassie or any like sitcom that's been produced in the last like 30 years.
Yeah, because all they do, like the story is okay. They try to like teach it how to hunt or defend itself. They try to just teach it how to behave.
All right, yeah, let me work up to that. What?
I'm letting you work up to it.
Okay. All right, let's move on then. So yeah, Flounder doesn't want to have anything to do with the whale, and so now we're in the castle.
Neither do I, Flounder.
Yeah, right. Sebastian. Oh, here's the important thing here, Yahel, is
Important?
yeah, quotation marks. Is anything important? We're just gonna become a nihilist podcast after this, if we weren't already. But so we're once again faced with that question that arose all the way back when we reviewed the Chipmunk Adventure in why is Sebastian and Flounder sentient, but the whale is not?
I was wondering the same thing too.
Like, I mean, whales are supposedly like the most intelligent creatures in the ocean, maybe like next to a dolphin or something. You'd think they'd be the ones talking, you know?
Yeah, definitely not a crab or a flounder.
Yeah, exactly. And I got another question for you. Where was Echo the dolphin during all this? He really would have spiced things up.
He's getting ready for his LSAT. He's got things to do.
Good answer. Okay, so
But yeah, and I don't know. I mean, maybe he is sentient, but he's so young he doesn't know how to talk yet. Because I mean, I guess that could be it. But
you'd think that we would have heard the other whales at the beginning being like, you know, Whaley, get out of here, go. Like we'll yeah. So we
Whaley,
yeah.
That's what they named.
I mean, Spot. I mean, come on. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. You should mention that unless you're about to get to
yeah,
it,
she hasn't.
Ariel names him Spot.
Yeah, did she name him that already? But yeah, the whale's name is Spot there.
Because he has a spot on his tail.
Right. So
very creative, Ariel. Is Ariel sentient? I'm not sure anymore.
Very creative Disney. Yeah, we're at the castle and they see Sebastian and Ariel and Flounder and Spot have to sneak by. Ariel shows Spot his new room, and man, she's all over this whale, like hugging him and nuzzling with him and stuff. I don't know about you, but I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a little weird, and also like that. My main question when she showed him to his room is who is making, because there's like a bed in there. Who is making like this furniture? Because it's just like a regular human bed,
right?
Who's manufacturing like the comforter, the sheets, where are they getting this wood from? I don't know. And also, wouldn't you be like kind of like floating? You're underwater. Like, how do you stay in this bed? And if you need to be strapped down to the bed, do you need a bed really at that point? I don't know.
But we are in a world with mermaids here, so you know you just gotta toss out any kind of.
Yeah, I guess so. This is I mean, there's a couple instances where like the in-universe laws for like what floats and what just has regular Earth landfall gravity. They play very fast and loose with it. Sometimes you hit something and it'll sink as if though it's outside. Sometimes it'll float away. Whatever.
Yeah, right. So they fool around in the room, which sounds really weird to say out loud.
Yeah, they're just like playing around.
Right, horsing around. There you go. Sea horsing around. And then, of course, Sebastian shows up, and they do, again, another tired, like, cliche of a joke where they have to hide the whale. And it's like, oh, is Sebastian going to see the whale? And then he's there to tell them about the big spring celebration. And then Sebastian sees Spot, and he's outraged. Flounder says that Sebastian can be the uncle, but Sebastian says that a killer whale is not a pet. But then he basically relents because I think secretly Sebastian is attracted to Ariel. I don't know why I wrote that, but just go with it. So Ariel tucks Spot in to his human bed. Then she and Flounder leave to go watch Sebastian sing. I mean, I guess this is supposed to be the spring celebration, which, again, what a title. The spring celebration. And how do they even know that it's spring if they're underwater? But
I was just gonna say, like, are they having seasons down there? I mean,
right.
what is going on?
And where's Sequest during all this? But all right.
Yeah, and Triton is, I forgot like how jacked he is. Like, where is he working out? Is he natty?
Yeah.
He looks like he's on trend.
I think he and Aquaman probably do sets together.
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing sets together.
Sets of mermaids, that is. Oh,
I was thinking like they were.
Right,
like,
I know you were making a gay joke.
Maybe hooking up.
Right. Hey, I mean, it was one big under the sea orgy. How about that?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
anything's possible under the sea. Hey, and what happens under the sea stays under the sea. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I mean, they're both wet, and as Sebastian loves to sing, everything's better when it's wetter.
Actually, he says
under the sea.
Down where it's wetter, I believe, or the
down where it's wetter, everything's better. That's what it is. I knew it was missing like a syllable.
Even worse.
It's even worse.
So, all right, during Sebastian's big number here, Spot shows up and he like break dances, and then he honks so loud it causes the venue to crumble. And then cut to Ariel and the gang getting chewed out by King Triton. And he says, whales don't belong here. And says that Ariel and the gang have like, 10 days to teach it how to be a whale, a real whale, how to survive. I don't know. Then they basically start training. Do you have any comments about the King Triton chew out scene?
No, not really. It's a little weird that the whale knows how to break dance. But doesn't know how to defend itself like instinctually.
That's like
although I guess later it does, because it just needs the motivation.
Right.
The proper motivation.
At this point it's just a cuck whale, and it has to be Andrew Tated into a man whale, I guess. Am I still allowed to reference him even though he's like
Well, I mean I wish that's how it went down, but I think it's just he needed to because if he was like an Andrew Tate type, he would like the whale would have thought he was like a tough guy the whole time,
and then actually not be one. right. Gotcha. So they start training, and it's just tired cliches after tired cliches.
I'm sorry, Steve. Did you see like when Andrew Tate got out of like jail or whatever, and he was like he tweeted full head of hair and a beard. I don't even recognize myself when I look at the mirror. And then somebody like added like a picture, because the guy is very clearly going very bald. Somebody added a picture of it, and it's just like 3 patches of hair on his head. He's like, but he had treated like a full head of hair and a beard. Shaggy beard.
I did not see that. That's
me.
Funny.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that aside.
Hey, no. More sides. We need them for this one. So yeah, they start their training montage. Flounder, he's trying to teach Spot how to roar or whatever, and ends up scaring him. And then they basically head back home. Sebastian.
Yeah, Flounder scares the whale. The whale.
Sebastian.
The whale's basically like a big, gentle, scaredy cat.
Yeah. A big, fluffy dog. So Sebastian says that Spot has to sleep outside the castle, and everyone is just mortified. I mean, I think that's pretty acceptable. So now everyone's asleep, and then you see sort of the fin of a shark swim by, which is
everyone's sleeping outside with him.
Right.
We should specify.
Yeah, well,
even Sebastian.
But again, he's willing to do anything to win over Ariel.
Yes.
So the next day, I guess this is the spot where Ariel tries to teach Spot how to growl, and then as they're doing that, the sharks show up. They all try to swim away, but the sharks are in hot pursuit. Ariel and the gang swim into a giant shell, and the sharks follow. Spot sees something glowing. I guess it's the end of the shell. This was kind of a little bit confusing. I don't know if you saw something I didn't, but yeah, he sort of sees.
I think what it was supposed to be was a part of the shell that was thinner, and the light was coming through it. I think that's what they were going for, but I don't know. Like you said, it looks weird.
Yeah, and basically somehow it gives him the idea to head the sharks off at the pass, basically, or the end of the shell, something along those lines.
And like break through like that
Yeah,
area that was glowing.
he's about to do that. The sharks almost have Ariel and Flounder, which too bad they didn't. But then Spot bursts through the shell, Echo the Dolphin style. He then spin thrusts into the sharks, and basically sending them flying back into the lower depths of the sea. And then he beats them up. Oh, actually, before they go further back, I mean, he really lays into them with his just constantly running into them and stuff. And I don't know, wasn't there like a suplex in there somewhere or a chair?
Something like
I'm
that.
just
I think
making
he
shit up
like
at this point.
whips. I think the closest thing is he like whips one of them with his tail around or something.
Right. Yeah, just all these moves just coming out of nowhere just because his friends were in danger, though. You were right. He just needed the right motivation. And then at the end, I thought he found some new whales. Yahel says it's the original whales. I guess we'll never know because I don't know about you, but
I highly doubt they wanted kids to think that like the whales, the guy's family were killed off. So I'm gonna go with
yeah, you're probably right. But anyway, he sees them. He goes and swims over to them, and then Ariel and them thinks he's left, but then he comes back. They have like a quick little goodbye moment, and then he leaves for good. And that is the end of The Little Mermaid, Season 1, Episode 1, A Whale of a Tale. Do you have any comments about that ending?
Mercifully it arrived after about 22 minutes. Kind of the ending you would expect, right? So, it was what you'd expect, and I suppose what it should be for a kid's show, right? You don't want to make them cry, because as a parent, I assume you would want to just plop your kid down and try and get 30 minutes of peace.
That's very true. Yeah.
I did look at some of the other episodes after watching it. I didn't watch the other episodes, but I just kind of looked through some of the titles and the descriptions because I was just like, this is so bad. Like, are they all like this? And it's interesting. You've got some where it's definitely like they have like their environmental episode, which was like a big thing in the 90s with cartoons. But there were two that kind of stuck out to me as being really weird. One's called Land of the Dinosaurs. It's a season 3 episode. And the description, it's very short. The description just says, during a trip to the North Pole, already like, what the fuck is Ariel going to the North Pole? Right? But anyways, during a trip to the North Pole, Ariel finds frozen dinosaurs and thaws them out with her father's trident.
Wow. I mean, that sounds way more interesting than this one.
Yeah. Then there was another one that I remembered. What triggered my memory was I was like, oh, this guy's like an Andrew Tate. The description to this one is Apollo, a great and Atlantean hero, comes to visit, and Ariel wants to go on an adventure with him, only to learn he isn't all he is cracked up to be.
Oh, it was that. I wonder which way that's going.
Yeah. So, anyways, just thought I'd throw those out there.
Yeah. When I was looking for, stills for the Obscuritron, I saw Ariel hanging out with some blonde mermaid. I don't really know.
Was it a guy?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was a woman. Pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Because the Apollo guy is like a blonde mermaid-looking thing with like a blue bottom. He's a merman.
Blue bottom. I don't know why that's funny.
His tail is blue.
Yeah.
But he's got big, long, like he's got like actually like very Ric Flair-like hair.
No, yeah, I definitely saw a woman mermaid. I didn't see that guy. I also saw.
Well, I should add also Ron Perlman did his voice.
Oh man, that would have been cool. We got to start researching these things better.
All right, this is now a Little Mermaid cartoon podcast. We're gonna go through all the episodes.
Man, if I ever see Ron at a con, I'm gonna bring that up. I'm gonna say, "What's up? What's up there, Apollo?"
You may also ask him about his role in Star Trek Nemesis, the worst TNG movie of all.
What did he do in that? The villain?
He doesn't play the villain, but Tom Hardy plays the villain, Shinzon, which is like a clone of Picard, but he plays Tom Hardy's like right-hand man. But he's under a bunch of makeup, like so much alien makeup, you don't even recognize his face. Like you don't see any of his face basically. So, and they alter his voice from what I remember too.
Aww.
So you take away his distinctive face and his distinctive voice.
Why didn't they?
Why
They should have
did you
just
cast?
hired a stuntman at that point. You think?
It's so weird, dude. Idris Elba is in the one of the new Star Trek movies, Star Trek Beyond, the last one, and it's the same thing. He's under so much makeup, you don't recognize him at all, and they alter his voice.
Get it together, Hollywood.
Why did you bother?
They just wanted his name because everyone loves Idris Elba.
He's like in one scene as a human before he got turned into this alien, and it's like a flashback thing with like all this distorted video. So even there, you don't get a great look at him either.
So you're saying it's like a Lance Henriksen cameo in Super Mario Brothers '93.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, where it's like, why did you bother?
Well,
anyway.
man, we could talk about this stuff forever, but I think that's...
I actually have some... Yeah, let's finish up with Little Mermaid, and then I want to do a little aside about the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, so we'll run thine question. All right, Mr. Velasquez, do you think that The Little Mermaid Season 1, Episode 1 pilot should be remembered for all of human history or sunk to the depths of the Mariana Trench, never to be heard from again?
No, it should definitely be sunk. Let it drown. Let Ariel... Well, I guess Ariel can't drown, right? So, I don't know. Bring her up to the surface so she suffocates. I don't know. Whatever.
See, I figured you'd be all about Ariel, but I guess I was... I forgot. You're an Ursula. I forgot. You're an Ursula guy.
I'm trying to, like, think of who these redheads are. I can only think of two.
I mean, maybe they had, like, dyed red streaks. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, man. Anyway.
Just making content over here.
What about you, Steve? What say you?
Oh, yeah, this was pretty boring. I mean, even if you compare it to, like, DuckTales or Rescue Rangers, it's just not very well written, not really paced very well. And there was not really much in it for me to like at all. So...
Has your son seen The Little Mermaid?
No, I mean, he just made it through his first feature film in the new Super Mario Brothers movie, and I don't think he doesn't really care for 2D animation at the moment. Oh,
okay. Yeah, maybe one of these times when we're watching some thing like this where it's like, you know, where it's clearly something like this where we're not the audience, you know, we're way too old to, you know, have any appreciation for it now with no nostalgia. Maybe you should try to sit your offspring in front of it and see what his reaction is.
That's a good idea. I mean, he just doesn't have the best attention span. But anyway.
You need to start exploiting him, Steve.
I've tried. As I said, he just doesn't sit very well. So, Little Mermaid, Episode 1, you are obliterated.
The heathens have spoken. You are obliterated.
All right. So, what's this about Super Mario Bros. You wanted to talk about, bro?
So, just last night I was watching an episode of VFX Artists React from Quarter Crew, which is a really good show. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they do really good deep dives into, you know, how certain visual effects were made.
Are these the guys who made the AI anime?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm familiar. Yeah.
So, anyways, basically, they started talking about the original Super Mario Brothers movie, and it was actually a pioneer for, like, visual effects.
Yeah, we mentioned that very briefly.
But did we touch about how, like, this was the first movie not done by ILM that was edited and the effects were done digitally instead of analog?
No, we did not mention that.
So basically, at the time, ILM were the only ones that had the tech to scan the film digitally and, you know, do a full-on edit for it. But Kodak was in the midst of creating similar technology. And basically, the producers from Super Mario Brothers found out about it. They wanted to, like, try to do some stuff that basically it was going to be too expensive to do analog. And so they reached out to Kodak, and Kodak was like, yeah, you can be the first film we let do this. So yeah, they ended up pioneering a bunch of special effects, and they basically used something called, I forgot the name of the program now. I think it's called like Finite or Affinity. I should have written it down, but basically it's the first After Effects type compositing program.
Oh, interesting.
So this is one of the first films to ever be like fully digitally composited. And they ended up pioneering a bunch of like rotoscoping techniques and technology that ended up being used by films going forward. So anyways, just wanted to touch on that because I did not know.
Well,
that.
at least Super Mario Brothers 93 did something right. Well, I think that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about the first Little Mermaid episode? Are we wrong? Are we just a bunch of Disney haters? Let us know in the comments. Other than that, we will see you next Sunday as we continue to unearth more obscure media only on Obscurity Now. See you next week.
I'm having a weird day. The name's Adam. Where I'm from, I'm known as the Zero Thief. Depending on who you ask, some might say I'm the best thief. But believe it or not, even the best screws up every once in a while, and that's what I did, and I had to make a fast getaway. I ended up crash landing on this bizarre planet. Turns out, I didn't get away fast enough. These winged freaks followed me here.
It's just us here, Zero Thief, on this empty backwoods planet. So start talking, either to me or my blade.
Okay, I do have something to tell you. It's about the planet. It's not that empty. Come on, man, I thought you were gonna duck. Cut me loose. Cut me loose. Behind you. Whoa! Thought I was done for. It was gonna be a light snack for a snarling creature, but then she showed up, riding on the back of one of those monsters like it was nothing. And with a wave of her hand, the other razor-toothed beast just stomped away. I'd never seen anyone like her before in my life. I thought I'd say something clever. Thanks, have you seen my ship? She gave me a look that said more than words ever could, because I think she was trying to read my mind or something. And from there, things just got even weirder. Escape to Earth. 30 pages of insane dinosaur action that will leave you hungry for more. Issue 1, crowdfunding now. Written and created by Stephen Honeycutt. Art by Antonio Brandao. Colors by Bruno Furlani. Jump on now before the whole human race is extinct. Download the digital preview today. You've been enjoying Obscurity Now, a podcast that's recorded live to tape and streamed to Twitch and YouTube. Subscribe so you never miss an episode or hilarious quip. Take us with you by following the download links provided in the show notes to wherever you get podcasts. And take notice of our various social media links if that's what you're into. I'm not here to judge. And make sure you join us live next week at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific as we continue to discuss more obscure media only on Obscurity Now.